Welcome to Learning Management System, LMS, supports for child care providers, brought to you by the AESD Professional Learning Team. There is a lot happening in our current reality, and you may be wondering how to support students in remote learning, should you decide that is something you want to do. We recognize that this is not something you have to do, and the daily support you already provide to children is so important. If you have decided that you want to go down this path, thank you. We know it means taking on more work. This resource is to support you, should you decide that you want to help support remote learning in some way. We also want to point out that there is a lot of variability across how districts are supporting remote learning, and it can be hard to know where to get information about what is happening. The caregivers of the children whom you serve are likely the best place to get this information, as you are partners in supporting the whole child. Thank you again for all you do. We recognize there are concerns about high expectations of school-age children being supported in childcare environments without additional support for providers. You will need to consider what this will look like in your context. This module is designed to help you get started should you choose to support the learning of school-age children in your care. Today, we want to acknowledge the importance of the whole child, support you already provide, learn the basics of navigation, getting around the computer system, review various options for communication, and highlight where to find various supports. Let's think about supporting our learners so that each one can grow already. You forte as childcare providers. Supporting the learner. We know you as childcare providers play a critical role in learning. You already support children every day in a variety of important ways. Some of these include remembering their individual learning needs, showing empathy, connecting to the emotion the learner is experiencing in a supportive, non-judgmental way, encouraging growth, attending to the whole child, including their physical, emotional, and learning needs. Let's look at these in a bit more detail to keep us grounded in the most important aspects of supporting our learners. Supporting the learner. Remember their learning needs. As you know, all of us have basic physiological needs. When they are met and we feel safe, our brains are ready for learning. You have probably interacted with many children and families who have experienced COVID-related challenges and disruptions over the last 6 months. Creating a sense of safety in environments and relationships children's experience is more important than ever. What are some ways you are helping your students be ready for learning? Bonus content are SEL core competencies that are available. Supporting the learner. Show empathy. We are all learners, and we know the struggle and challenges of learning. How can you be empathetic with your student? Be gracious, knowing that learning takes time. Be understanding and flexible. Be okay with not having the right answers. Remember to look at bonus content, a Brene Brown on empathy. Supporting the learner. Encourage growth. We can help ourselves and each other's brains grow incredibly. Knowing your brain can grow is the most important part. How can you encourage growth for your student? Be positive. Embrace and celebrate the challenge of learning. Welcome mistakes. They are critical for growth. Relate to how your student grows in other areas, calling out how we grow through focused hard work. Bonus content available. The power of believing that you can improve. And 5 real-life COVID-19 problems and how they help students develop an innovation mindset. The work you do every day to provide support to your students on a range of needs, including physical, emotional, and learning, is so important to their well-being. While we recognize there are a lot of pressures of students, families, and providers to meet academic needs right now, we know it is still important that students of all ages have time to play and be creative and have safe and trusting relationships with peers and adults. We thank you for all you do to meet many needs of children and their caregivers every day. Learning systems may vary from district to district, or even from school to school. Let's take a look at the different elements of remote learning. Vocabulary. We will be using some words that are specific to digital learning. We've provided this vocabulary sheet for your reference. You can access this sheet in the package of materials you received. Before we go further, let's look at 3 key words. Number 1, LMS. An LMS is a learning management system. Each learning management system is a tool to help people, teachers, parents, etc. to organize and manage schoolwork and communications. Examples: Blackboard, Schoology, Canvas, Microsoft Teams, Seesaw, Google Classroom are all learning management systems. Number 2, log in. To log in is to get into a computer, program, or website. When you log in, you might need a password. Example: you log in to your email with your username and password. 3, navigation. Navigation is a process to get around a computer program. Navigation includes clicking the right buttons to get where you want to go and do what you want to do. As we mentioned earlier, what students are using to access remote learning will be different depending on what their school district or grade level is using. However, for most students, there are a few things that will be the same. Most students will have a learning management system, LMS, like Google Classroom, Canvas, or Seesaw. Some students will have a separate tool for their video classroom time. This is sometimes referred to as synchronous learning. The specific tool they're using depends on their school. You might see Zoom, Google Meet, or Teams. Some students may also receive materials in hard copy form, like worksheet packets or choice boards from their school or district. The best way to find out what your students are using is to connect with their caregiver, which many of you have probably already done. For most students, a learning management system will be the main tool for finding their assignments, turning in work, getting feedback from teachers, and communication. Parents may also use an LMS to communicate with teachers and other staff. Locate assignments completed during the school day. Homework. Turn in work. Seeing what has been turned in and what needs to be turned in. Teacher feedback on assignments. Resubmitting assignments. Communication. Teachers and other staff and classmates. Calendars. Announcements. If you would like to support your students in accessing their LMS, here are some things to keep in mind. Link to the LMS and classroom video. If they are not using their own device, bookmark this on your web browser or keep someplace for easy access. Username and password for LMS. If students need help logging in, keep this someplace that is easy for you to access. Student login for LMS, password for video if required. View the resources for the LMS your students are using. There are one-page tip sheets available on the AESD website And later in this presentation, we will be taking a tour of each of the most common LMS. Remember, you can reference the vocabulary sheet as you need. Because of the many ways students are connecting to their schools, the best way to get information will likely be through students' primary caregiver. If you haven't done so already, here are some helpful questions to ask. How will I get updates about school changes? These might be schedule updates, what students are working on in class and/or celebrations. Has the school asked for anything in order for me to access the LMS? What part of the day does your child enjoy most? What part of the day is more challenging for them? Whether students are working on a laptop, iPad, or working on packets and choice boards, having a study space can be a helpful way to transition them into their school time and limit their distractions. A study space can be as simple as working at the kitchen table, if you're an in-home provider. As we all know, children thrive with routine, so having the same study space every day as much as possible can be a helpful signal to learners of all ages that it's time to transition to school time. Here is a list of some sample things that can make study spaces for learners of all ages more effective. We want to acknowledge that some schools and districts will provide students with technology like Chromebook or iPad, and some will not. Some learners may even receive things like headphones from their school. Again, it is important to connect with your student's primary caregiver to make a plan for what they will need to get connected and what their school is providing. Headphones, especially when in class. Flexible seating and/or standing options. Fidget spinners or other small sensory items to help them stay focused. You likely already have these. Their daily schedule. As always, for younger students, use pictures alongside words. Supplies they will need, including any packets or worksheets they are using. For some learners, having some support in minimizing distractions, a trifold board study space can be an easy way to set up a study space at a kitchen table or in a shared space. Trifold board study space. Inexpensive. Folds away when not in use. Have students help decorate. Not too many images. Post their schedule on the board. Keep supplies nearby or in a bag on the board. Can ask parents to make at home and send to care with students. Let's look at navigation in the learning management system. By navigation, we mean learning how to get around in the system. The first learning management system we are going to look at is Canvas. It is important to make sure you bookmark or write down the direct link for each student's individual Canvas. Each school district will have a separate Canvas login page customized for their school. When students sign into their Canvas account, they see the dashboard and all courses they are currently enrolled in. From the dashboard, students also have access to their inbox, calendar, and to-do list for all courses. Discussion posts are places students can reply to their teacher's prompts, create a student thread, or reply to classmates' threads. To access discussion posts, students click on the discussion within a module from the to-do list or calendar. Then click the link Reply and it opens a reply text box. They can add media, links, and other resources in their responses. Assignments are tasks students complete and submit. To access assignments, students click on Assignments within a module from the to-do list or calendar. Students then complete assignments tasks and click Submit. Students can view notification messages from the teacher to the whole class using the Notifications button. Students can view, receive, and send messages within their inbox. The next learning management system we are going to look at is Google Classroom. Google Classroom requires a district Google account with a username and password. Make sure to keep this information somewhere close by to assist students with their logging into their classroom. When students log in to classroom.google.com, they will find all their classes and links, a to-do list, and calendar on the dashboard. To enter any of their classes, they will click on the correct class title. Students can find the latest news about assignments, discussions, or announcements the teacher posts in the stream. Sometimes the teacher will allow students to share in the stream. Upcoming assignments can be found in the upcoming window to the left of the stream. On the Classwork page, students can find information about assignments and see the teacher comments on individual assignments. The Topics menu on the left-hand side is an easy way to filter the Classworks page. Links to Google Calendar, Google Meet, and the Class Drive folder can be accessed in the top right-hand side of the window as well. Students can connect via email with teachers and classmates using the People tab within Google Classroom. Some districts have disabled emailing for younger students, so please check with the students' caregivers for specific information on student email. The next learning management system we are going to look at is Seesaw. Seesaw was developed for younger students, but has been used with older students as well. Please check with your students' caregivers for login information, as this will vary between districts. When students sign in to the class app, they see their journal. Their journal consists of items the teacher has placed within the journal, as well as completed student work. Students can only see their journal unless the teacher has provided access to view other students' journals. Students can add items to their journal by clicking the green Add button using fun tools like photo, drawing, video, and more. Students will access assigned activities, also known as assignments, by clicking the Activities tab under the class name. Activity directions and details will show up in this window. To complete an activity, students will add a response by using the bright green Add Response button located within the assigned activity window. Students will access teacher announcements from the Inbox tab located under the class name on the right-hand side of the screen. A red notification bubble will appear when there is something to see. The next learning management system we are going to look at is Schoology. Schoology has individual login pages similar to Canvas. Make sure to bookmark or write down the specific link for each student, as it will vary between districts. When students sign into Schoology, they see the home page. From there, students can access the recent activity, courses, upcoming assignments, events, their grades, resources, calendar, and messages. Upcoming assignments can be found on the right-hand side of the home page. Students can click on individual assignments to be taken to that post within the course it corresponds to. Within each course, students can select Materials or Updates tabs on the left side of the page. Materials include all of the individual course content, and updates include any announcements they have from the teacher. From the home page, students can select Calendar or Messages. The calendar will show all course activities and assignments. Messages include any email communications through Schoology. Note, districts may be using another form of communication instead of Schoology. The final learning management system we are going to tour today is Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is part of Microsoft 365 software suite and will require student username and password to access. Please keep this information handy to assist students who are having login issues. When students sign in to office.com and open Teams, they will see the titles for classes in which they're enrolled. They click on the title to enter the class and view channels, discussions, and assignments. Within a class, channels on the left-hand side of the page are ways to organize files, conversation, and apps for a particular topic. Every channel has tabs like Posts for all messages, Files to store files, Shared in the channel, and Grades for tracking student progress. Students can reply to discussion posts and add text, media, links, and other resources. Assignments are tasks that students complete and submit. To access assignments, students can select the class team and the general channel. Select the Assignments tab. To view assignment details and turn in work, select the assignment. Attach any required materials and select Turn In. Select Activity in the app bar to see what's happening in the class. Let's think about what supports are available to you so you can help each learner. As a childcare provider, we wanted to point you in a few places you can access for assistance with distance learning supports. C-STEP Help Desk can provide technical support. This help desk is run by educators around the state. Remember to reach out to your local childcare aware support person for specific childcare resources. In this package of materials listed on the AESD website, where you access this presentation, we have provided a quick reference guide for each LMS. Feel free to print and keep close to your study area.